So, 3 games left of the season. Let's get into it. As you can see, 3 games to go. We've been on a pretty good streak. We're now 6 points ahead of Liverpool in second, who have a game in hand. So it's probably more like 3 points, which is an unbelievable situation to find ourselves in, especially as Liverpool were ahead of us for a little while. But recently, they've had a mini dip. They had a surprise draw with Norwich just after a draw with Manchester City, and then they also drew with Southampton. So they've dropped quite a few points in the last few weeks. As you can see there, though, we are their next opponent. For those of you that can do good maths or have worked it out, that means that if we beat Liverpool away from home, we win the title, essentially. However, if we don't, we have 3 really tough fixtures on the horizon. We've won our last 5, so I'll start by showing you these clips of how we won those games, basically. First up was a 5-0 drubbing of Crystal Palace. We're back to our best, basically. We've had a little fiddle around with the tactics. We've actually swapped our midfield around somewhat, with roles-wise, and it's resulted in a real upturn of form. So, yeah, great goal to begin with from Olmo, with some Maximan playing the ball in. We've been playing some scintillating stuff, similar to what you saw in the last episode. Yeah, Willock here plays the ball through. Mitchell picks the ball up and then instantly Gabby tackles him. That's the benefit of the pressing forward. Can win it off opponents' mistakes. And Mitchell made a lot of mistakes in this game, mainly due to our own pressure. As you can see there, long throw. Ward gets under the ball and misses it. Drops to Gabby, puts it into the goal easily. And we actually scored 2 goals in the 90th minute. Here's the first one. Free kick from Olmo, comes across. And then Niakate heads it in. And the second one was a hat-trick goal from Gabby. So the ball finds its way out here. Ball flicked over the top. Gabby goes through and just smashes it in the top corner. And I was quite happy to see that, as they tend to miss a lot of one-on-ones on this game. So it was quite pleasant to see us actually scoring one for a change. The second game was a 2-0 win against Wolves. Again, it was away from home, so another good result. Both goals coming from Danny Olmo. The first one was assisted by Gabby when it loads up. So you see Wolves start going on the counter and they just lose the ball to Willock. He plays the ball into Gabby, who then flicks it onto Olmo. And Olmo hits maybe a goal of the season contender into the bottom corner. Or it would be goal of the season contender if it wasn't for this second goal that he scores here. You see that Longstaff plays the ball into Olmo. He kind of does a first touch Cruyff turn and then from 40 yards smashes it into the top corner, which, wow, what a pair of goals. We weren't brilliant in that game, didn't really create too much, but those 2 goals won us the game, and that's the individual brilliance of Olmo. In the next game, we had Spurs at home, another game which we played okay, if not brilliant in, but we still managed to get the win. We did play a pretty rotated side due to fitness and suspensions, so the 1-0 win isn't as bad as it looks. We didn't have Rice, Olmo, etc. available for this game. The goal comes from this. Marcus Edwards passing the ball to the edge of the box, and then it was absolutely smashed home by Fraser. Not the greatest win, but we'll take it. And then our last win was another home game, this time to Brighton. We won this 2-1. They actually took the lead with a goal through Shane Duffy, but we managed to eventually come back. I'll actually show you their goal. It's just pretty standard. It's just a set-piece goal. The corner comes in. Shane Duffy gets up, as realistic to real life as he does, and rams the header home from the back post. We equalised through Callum Wilson from a penalty. Usually you see Gabby slotting those away, but yeah, good to see Wilson doing it too. And then in the 85th minute, we won the game through a set piece of our own as it comes over. Niakate, as he's been doing all season, at the near post, heads it in. Now, my only worry before this Liverpool game is a slowly declining form, I would say. in that we won 5-0, then 2-0, then 1-0, and then we didn't get the clean sheet but still won by 1 goal. And that's a bit of a worry if that continues, because Liverpool aren't going to roll over for us. So this is going to be a tough one. And we're back. I've done a quick cut across just to the game because I didn't think you wanted to watch me click through all the press conferences. You'll see here, looking at our team, it's not pretty, put it that way. I'm going to put Rice at the back due to a poorly timed suspension from Niakate. I should have paid attention to that last game. You'll see here we have numerous injuries, which really is not great for us, particularly going into such a strong opponent. We don't really want to be playing Longstaff and Willock as our two midfielders. But we'll have to just see what we can do. Okay, may take a long time to load. Liverpool actually playing a slightly rotated team here with Diogo Jota and Curtis Jones in their attack, along with Mo Salah. This is good. We're getting them fired up. They seem to be, there we go, well motivated. So not really an excuse if we don't do well here. Let's just click through these. A draw wouldn't be the worst result in the world. A win wins us the title, but despite Liverpool dropping points through the draws, they haven't actually lost a game in a very, very long time. So I would be very surprised if we won here, especially given all of our injuries. But we'll have to just see what we can do. Liverpool matching us in formation with a 4-3-3 as well. So Jota's actually up front rather than Salah. They're playing a pretty strong midfield with Keita and Ox. As Ox pings the ball in, it's won by Fabinho at the far post. Mane looked offside from where I was. Let's just see what the VAR review decides, though. Potentially ran off the back of who was marking the back post. No, and he didn't. He was offside. I think it did look offside. But that's a warning for us. That wasn't Mane, so it was Matip. But yeah, that's a warning. We just didn't defend that at all. Those set pieces are strong in this game. Liverpool actually playing with two Mazzalas in their midfield, which should be dangerous, particularly with inside forwards. They shouldn't have a lot of support in midfield. You think we'd be able to get at them. However, we're not particularly strong in midfield for this game either, which is not ideal. 38 minutes then, and there's another highlight. This one's with us as Rice brings the ball out, plays the Longstaff, and you can see how high, true to real life, Liverpool are pressing. Dubravka tries to play the ball out and he loses it to Jones, who plays it across to Salah, whose first touch is brilliant to Jota, and he slots it into the bottom corner, and that's not what we wanted. We really don't want this momentum in the title race to shift back towards Liverpool. It is closer than it looks, because this is a real 6-pointer. So ball again played over the top, which Salah's running after. Dubravka gets it clear, but we just can't hold on to the ball at the minute. Liverpool playing some silky stuff as Salah gets in and he chips it just off the top of the crossbar, and we get away with it once again, but we are being completely dominated here by Liverpool. Our results against the top sides haven't been that bad this season. We've played well, particularly considering how attacking we are. But Liverpool here are just giving us a lesson at the minute. Keita here picks up the ball, flicks it over the top to Oxlade-Chamberlain. And I didn't realise when the highlight continued there was going to be another chance, but there is. And Ox has burst through and hit a volley so sweetly into the bottom corner. And that double Mezzala midfield has really paid off for them. And that's us 2 goals down at half-time. One shot we've had at 0.1 XG. That's just not good enough. Really not good enough. Especially when you consider we could have won the league this game. You'd think that they'd want to play. Going to move Rice into midfield as we just have no control in that midfield. Chambers should be able to do a job there. I'm actually going to make a double change as our team's been that bad. Hopefully that gives everyone the G up that we need. "60 minutes in, it doesn't look like that's had a huge impact. Game just kind of drifting past us, and we can't really allow that as we really need a goal. And we're just not creating anything. The problem is we've just got nothing on the bench. I'm going to bring Wilson on and just move Gabby over to the right. Left-footed might not be great for that attacking winger role, but hopefully he can just ghost in around the back post for a couple of tap-ins, perhaps. 70 minutes now and no highlights whatsoever for us. We've had 2 shots. As I say that, we get a corner. Edwards flicks it in, and it's headed away tamely, which means it's probably not our highlight. It's the last thing we need. Milner running away, and Declan Rice foolishly takes him down. And on top of that, we've got an injury with Edwards. This game is going about as wrong as it could possibly go right now. That is terrible. So any chance we had of getting back in this game has now been scuppered by Declan Rice. He's up there in terms of number of yellow cards in the league this season, but I don't think he's had many reds. As we miss one of our only chances. But he hasn't had many reds, so he's done well to keep himself out of red cards up until the one time we desperately needed him not to get one. Liverpool with a set piece here then, struck by Elliott, easily saved by Dubravka. If we don't win the league this year, as I said, we will continue into another year. And if we do, I think Dubravka will be one of those players I'll be looking to replace. He's been solid, if not spectacular. I'd like to get a real keeper in there to change games for us. I never see Dubravka making those real game-changing saves. Keita then pings the ball in to Oxlade-Chamberlain, and it's 3. And there's not a lot we can do really with 10 men, one of which is injured. We've just got to let this game run out and hope it doesn't get embarrassing with 10 minutes to go. Lovely finish from them though, but once again that double Mezzala midfield. Maybe Klopp's onto something. Maybe we need to look into that. That looked really dangerous there. That's twice one's assisted the other now. 94th minute then. Hopefully this is the game-ending highlight and we're not going to lose by 4 because we want to keep the morale high if we possibly can. Well, as I say that, Chamberlain plays in Jota and he does score 4th. This is our first battering of the season. Even 3 isn't brilliant. It has been awarded, yes. This is our first time getting battered this season, and it really couldn't have been a worse time to do it because now morale is going to be low. We're going to have Rice on a red card, Edwards injured, and of all the teams you don't want to play with that, we have Man City up next. We tell the team they weren't good enough, and I don't really know what to say. So I'm actually going to cut here and I'll skip away to when we get to the Manchester City game. So we are back for the Manchester City game. As you can see, I'm not particularly expecting much from this game. We are really struggling to cobble half a team together. I'm going to play St-Maximin despite the fact that he's in poor fitness. Same with Neres and Edwards, who've both got injuries. Rice out. Niakate still suspended. We've got half a team and we're playing another one of the best teams in the league. For that reason, I've switched across to a 4-3-3, just hoping we can be a little bit more defensive and try and just keep the goals out, because that was our problem against Liverpool. We didn't leave ourselves any chance whatsoever because we conceded far too many. So I've gone a little bit more defensive here in the hope that we can shut City out and frustrate them and maybe take something from this game, because we need 3 points, but we need a point minimum. Anything less than that, and we'll be left needing Liverpool to really, really slip up. 20 minutes in here, though, and City with a highlight as Jesus threads a great ball through to Foden, who's running on goal. He chips it, but he chips it over the bar. And that's an early wake-up call for us. Onwards we go, and we still haven't had a shot in this game, which is pretty scary when you consider that the same happened last game. We've had one now, which had a 0.00 xg, so was from absolutely nowhere. I'm going to encourage them in the hope that brings about a little bit of morale. That said, we are now at half-time, and although we didn't have a shot, we kept City out for everything apart from one long-range Foden chip. As long as our defence holds solid, there's always a chance that we could nick one late on. As I say that, the ball gets played through, although Longstaff does brilliantly well to mop it up. And he hits the ball to Gabby, though Gabby couldn't hold it up, and it's going to come right back at us. As Foden goes in, Foden strikes, and it's a great save from Dubravka. I said recently about how Dubravka doesn't come up in the big moments. Well, that might have been one of those big moments. And another big save as Rodri wins a header from a corner, going in the far post, and Dubravka shows up to make a big save. He might be required again here. Not this time, header off target. But Man City is starting to turn the screw somewhat, and they look like they want this game. 14 shots compared to our 3, though their XG isn't great for those shots, which shows they're not really creating that much. Kraft with a little flick on there, luckily going back to our keeper. It looked like Sterling might have got in. We're going to make some changes here as we haven't created a lot up front, so see if I can change anything. As I come back, we do have a highlight with Dani Olmo. Now they're going to investigate this. This is something they've brought in this year as a little kind of mini highlight. I don't think I've ever seen one of these given as a penalty. They're almost only ever shown, yeah, there we go. They're almost only ever shown if it's at the edge of the box and a free kick. We are strong at set pieces, so maybe we can do something from this free kick. Or maybe we do absolutely nothing as it skips straight past the highlight. 70 minutes in here, and once again, we haven't really got anything on the bench that I can bring on. We've already brought on Edwards and Wilson, so the time's just going to tick away. De Bruyne with the free kick here. Met by Rodri, once again over the bar. We're holding them out well, but just not really creating anything. Kraft here with an injury. Going to be forced to bring on Paul Dummett, who's barely played a game all season, let alone at centre-back. Keeping it solid, so we might squeeze a point out of this, which wouldn't be the worst result. If we manage to get 4 points out of City and Arsenal, we might have half a chance at the title. Depends how Liverpool do. As I say that, another chance for Man City, but another big save from Dubravka. I'm going to waste time and play for the draw, I think, because we don't seem to have any intention of getting a goal ourselves. So the best we can do is hope for a point, I think, as another header whistles over the bar. '91st minute then. We've only got to hold out for one more minute and we get the point. A little bit of play here. Hopefully this ends up being a highlight of our own. As Wilson streaks away. Oh, what a touch. He's taking it around the back. Can this be a dream ending? He comes up to Edison. Great chip, but just unfortunately onto the post. That could have been us in absolute dreamland. To be fair, we don't deserve to win this game at all. We've been absolutely destroyed by Man City, and the only thing they lacked was a goal. But I'm going to tell the boys well done, because I think a point at Man City is a good result, even. Doesn't matter how you get it. But it could have been 3. We threw it away at the last second. Let's see where we are now then. So Liverpool won their game. So they're now just ahead of us. And they play the FA Cup final against Manchester United. That could be good for wearing their team out. And then they're away at Leicester, which Leicester are 11th, so they're not the worst team in the world. Hopefully they can hold Liverpool up for us and we can get the win. Right, I'm going to skip across now to the Arsenal game and I'll be right back. And here we are, back for the Arsenal game. The good news for those eagle-eyed in that quick flash of the team you got there will spot that we are back to a full-strength side for the first time in a while. We've got Niakate back at the back, who we've really missed, I think. Although we kept a clean sheet against City, we did let up far too many chances with him not here. And we've also got Rice back in the midfield. So with a first choice side, I think we have a good chance of really taking the game to Arsenal like we need to here. This is a must-win game here, and we have to hope that Liverpool don't win their game. And that's not an ideal start there with Olmo out early. I'm going to bring Edwards in and put him in the AM position. We need to keep an eye on the dugout and see if it gives us the latest scores, etc. I'm not sure if it does actually. I might have to have a look at that. As I say that, we get our first highlight. Niakate instantly involved with winning a header. He heads it to the front post, and I'm not sure who it was, but we missed a chance at the near post. Long throw going to be slung in from Lewis then. He whips it in. It comes to Gabby. He heads it into the back post, and that is the early goal that we needed. So that's an early start for us, a really good early start, and we're ahead. And unless Liverpool are already winning, we are currently sitting top of the league. It's good from us. A good throw from Lewis and a great header from Gabby. I don't want to look across at the Liverpool game. I'm going to have to wait till the end and see how we do. As cross comes in, Koundé wins a header, and that's us 2 goals for the good. You can see what a difference it makes when we have our full strength side. We're a completely different animal. The quality difference between our first 11 and any backups is just enormous. Almost all of our backups aren't good enough. And I'm going to now start to try and believe until I see the latest scores. And as you can see there, in the league table, Liverpool 2 points ahead of us, and they are 2-0 up. They scored 2 goals in the first, 5 minutes against Liverpool. And that's heartbreaking because we did our own game well, and we could have won the league 3 games ago, and we handed the initiative back to them. So I suppose it's our own fault. At this point, it's less about our own game and keeping an eye on that touchline tablet and just seeing if anything comes our way from Leicester. We really need them to do us a favour. And doesn't look like it's going to come, as we get another long throw slung in, and we've been very dangerous from them this game. Chambers' throw somehow reaches the opposite side of the 6-yard box. What a launch that must have been. Neres also gets up ahead of the Arsenal centre-back and heads it into the far post. But look at this throw. Not sure why the keeper doesn't just come out and claim it, but they all count, and that's us 3 goals up. Unfortunately, more goals don't mean more points. And the one thing that's not great is we're picking up a lot of injuries, and we need to hope none of these last into next season, because it looks like we are going to be playing another season. 80 minutes in here, and Leicester have got a goal back. It's now 2-1. Can they do it? It's just sitting. And as I say that, Liverpool go 3-1 ahead, and that'll be our title dreams over, unfortunately. Well, let's hope we nick another one here against Arsenal, or at least keep them out. We don't keep them out, although he might have been offside. We'll let the referee have a look, but let's try and get a good result here against Arsenal, at least end our season on a high after the results in the last 2 episodes. And that is disallowed, so that's us staying 3-0 up. And the last few seconds trickle away here. And whilst we didn't win the league, we can still kind of end the season holding our heads up high. I think to have a title challenge and finish second with Newcastle is still a huge achievement. We have players like Willock, Longstaff, Kraft, average players basically who start in the Newcastle squad, and they played a hell of a lot of games for us, and we still only lost 3 games. So, if we fill in a few more positions, get slight more depth, I think we could win the league pretty comfortably next year. Right, I'm going to end the episode there, and I will be back for a end of season review, I think, in the next episode. Until then, I hope you check out the other videos on my channel, and I hope you have a really good day.